Ronald played okay in the first week, and we thought he could play better. He even thought he could play better. He wasn't happy with his performance, and he did. He worked at it last week, and he worked hard. And then when he got in the game last week, he did a good job, and he's had a good job. He's done a good job this week as well. As far as Chester, he got in last week, showing what he can do. He knows what we want him to be able to do, and he's showing now that he can do it. So it's a good battle going on. There's a standard here that we're going to hold those guys to on and off the football field, and they understand that, and all our guys do. I'm not just talking about those two. And they're starting to apply it, and now competition is really real, and best players play. Obviously, we don't like to see anybody get injured or anything like that, but the more depth that you have, the better.
What do you think of the secondary overall through 2 games?
We got some room for improvement, but we've gotten better, I think, compared to last year. And we're going to continue to work to get better. And we all know that. Not only the coaches, but the players know as well that we still need to get better, and there's room for improvement. So that's what we're working to do every day.
Xavier looks like he's taken a step from last year and elevated his play as a senior and a guy you expect to be a leader back there.
Yeah, he's a good football player, and like him a lot. He's sharp, he understands, and he's growing as a leader every day. So I'm really happy for him, excited for him, and just hope this continues. He continues to get better and better and better in everything that he does. But he's doing well so far.
And the young guys, Darius Snow, Charles Brantley, they've seen some game time so far. What have you seen from them out on the field? How would you judge their play?
Well, the same thing that we saw in camp, because they earned that time. They know what to do. They play fast. They try to play physical, and so that earned them some time in games. We say the best players play, and they got in the best player mix. So they're playing, and that's just being honest as coaches and doing what we said we were going to do. And so they earned it. Hopefully they continue to earn it, because every week we're always battling. Everybody's battling to play, and they'll continue to get better and better and better. I'm not going to necessarily give them a grade, but they're playing well, and we can play better, and we all know that. The coaches as well as the players know we can play even better. We have to play better if we want to do what we want to do. And so those guys understand that. They're working hard to do that. It's about some technique stuff, eye control, eye discipline, or what have you. And they're doing it. They're applying it, and now you just got to apply what you do in practice in the game consistently, and they're going to try to do that and continue to do that. And when we do, we'll be better.
With De'Aaron King, in the past you guys had a lot of success corralling quarterbacks. Is that a guy I imagine you have to apply some of those concepts, and does that still work within this scheme without you giving away X's and O's, ideas and stuff like that? But
absolutely, because you want to have eyes on the guy. If you have eyes on him, you can't have too many times where you're running with guys and you don't have eyes on them. If you have eyes on them, and then everybody's able to leverage the ball or cup the ball and trust their brother on the other side of them, that's how you limit some of the things that he can do. Sometimes it's easier said than done,
right?
But that's what we're going to try to do.
All right, with Angelo Gross, he's learning as he goes, I would imagine, there at the safety position. With that running play that got out for 26 yards or whatever, he came in really aggressively. Was he supposed to replace onto that, or is that the way you want that played, or is that he has to pull the pin and make a decision on that?
He's always gonna be the last line of defense, so to speak, as a middle of the field safety, if that's what he is doing at that particular time. And so we got to slow him down a little bit, because he is an aggressive football player. He's a football player.
Yeah.
And so he was close to the line of scrimmage last year, playing the nickel for us for the most part. And so he's trying to learn how to let the game come to him. Sometimes it may seem like it's getting boring back there, but when it's time for you to make the play, you got to make the play. Mm-hmm. And so he understands that he's still growing in it.
Yeah.
And he's going to be fine. He'll be fine. He's a good football player.
And the deep one against Northwestern on Kalen's side over there, he just undercut it a little bit.
He got to get more depth.
It looked like he didn't get fooled by the crosser. He was flowing over there to get to the middle, but he just didn't get deep enough. But
exactly.
That's just experience.
I was just about to say that. It's going to come with experience. The more he does it, the better he'll get at it. And he should end up being a really, really good player back there for us.
Speaking of tackling, Kalen Gervin had a real nice one at the end of the first half against a guy that's really hard to tackle over there
he sure did. That was a good football player, a very shifty guy, and I told him that's a good play, that's a good tackle, man. Getting guys down on the ground sometimes don't always look pretty, but you get them down, and against a shifty guy like that, that was a really good tackle by him.
He got him low with 2 arms. I've noticed your guys have been doing a little bit more of that this year. Is that a technique you guys have?
But we're always talking about wrapping and squeezing. You're trying to get guys down the
and
ground.
lower, it seems like
Well,
that's
we
it.
shouldn't be going too low because
Okay.
we do a lot of thudding.
Okay.
Sometimes we're going too low on
Okay.
guys.
All right.
We still want to wrap guys up and get them down the ground. You know, it's still a physical game.
Gotcha.
And we don't always have to go down ankle biting and all that kind
Sure.
of stuff.
Okay.
You know, run through people. Yes. How you make the improvement is by staying low and moving your feet and staying square. He stays square a lot. And bend at his knees. And so now when you go make a tackle, sometimes you got to get up to a guy and he shifts, and you got to be able to quick shuffle, quick slide, however you want to say it. Keep your feet up under you have a base, and then run through it, as opposed to crossing your feet up. And he's done that phenomenal job of that through the spring, through the summer, and now through the first part of the season. So I'm really happy for him because at one point, you know, last year, you know, we were getting on him about tackling and all that, and he received it and responded. And I told him that. I said, I love that about you. You received what was said and you responded. You might not like hearing what was said, but you received it and responded. And that's awesome. That's a sign of a guy that wants to be better, and he's playing better.
He talked about, I think the day he got here in January, you left for a different job, or very close to that, and he was kind of, you know, naturally disappointed and then excited when you came back. What has that been like? You know, you recruit a guy, don't get to coach him, come back and sort of pick that right back up. What's that part of it?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great. He was mad at me. He didn't say. He told me after I came back. I didn't know that, but he was mad at me. But you know, his high school coach used to always say, and sometimes coaches say things like, "Man," but he said it all the time. The best player I ever had. And that school has a lot of good players every year prior to X coming out of there. Best player I ever coached. Best player ever. And so last year I'm here, I'm with the corners. I'm around them, but I'm not really coaching them, you know what I mean? And so I didn't pick up on it. This year, coaching them and being around them, I see what Coach was saying. The guys are really good football players. They're really sharp, and that's what I like about him a lot. I like smart football players and tough football players, and that's what he is. And so I'm happy for him that he's doing well, and I'm glad I was able to come back and actually coach him. Well, the challenge would be just to try to contain all those guys. You know, they got fast receivers, they have good tight ends, good running backs, and a good quarterback, as you mentioned. So all those guys are being studied and watched, and we're trying to understand everything that they like to do and how they like to do it, so we can go out and perform and do our best.